Hello, everybody. Steve here, and today I'd like to talk to you about the mental game of building a coaching practice from scratch. I think this is a very important and often overlooked topic in the world of coaching. Building a commercially viable coaching practice is a journey, a long journey, and if you're not prepared for it mentally, then you can easily run out of energy, you can run out of enthusiasm, you can run out of provisions, and you can fall by the wayside. And literally, there are far too many. I think there are thousands of good people, good coaches, that find themselves struggling to create a viable coaching practice. So, if you want to look at this journey into coaching, it often starts with a great deal of enthusiasm. We somehow or another find our way into a coach training program and we love it. It feels like home. We're learning skills that are so useful. We love the meaty conversations they allow us to have. We really do feel like it's a calling. And in contrast, the business or marketing side of a coaching practice can feel so foreign. So much of what we're taught in our early days is about how to get clients and how to market ourselves. Just seems so inauthentic and it's so ineffective. You can spend so many hours trying to talk to people about coaching and nobody seems interested and you're just not getting enough clients. So you can often find yourself a year down the road, 2 years down the road, having avoided the business side and gone to the safe and comfortable and exciting side of just developing yourself into be a great coach. And you can become a really, really well-trained coach a year down the road. But, if you don't have a viable practice, then that's problematic. And the other thing I think you'll find is that no matter how much you learn, no matter how far you go into coaching, there's still going to be a part of you that doesn't feel fully baked, fully confident or ready to go out and build a practice. And when you have that kind of inner doubt about whether you're ready or yet, that lack of confidence translates into all you're doing and kind of again keeps you on the sideline. So to help navigate through this journey, I wanted to share a few ideas or suggestions that might help make the journey a little less, drama filled for you. So first suggestion is, I think it's a really good idea, and when I say I'm speaking in knowledge that there's a lot of good research that indicates that having a vision, a picture of where you're going, where you have a kind of a mental connection to, an emotional connection to, is going to help you, particularly if that vision kind of aligns with what you care about and your values. And the more real it is, the more effective that vision can be in keeping you on track and reminding you why you're doing something when, the road gets bumpy, and the road is going to get bumpy. So having a good vision keeps you on track and it helps you to come back to the journey when things get tough. And when I say that things are going to get tough, there's very good research now from the field of positive psychology that the average adult encounters about 8 mini stress states a day, events that disappointments, rejections, small snubs, that kind of trigger your sympathetic nervous system, that begin to flood you with little bits of adrenaline and epinephrine and corticosteroids that put you in the fight or flight mode. So you're contracting, you're pulling back, you're doubting yourself, your people skills are reduced, your immune system is reduced. And that's the average person. When you think of building a business from scratch, one that you haven't done before, where you don't know for sure if it's going to work out or how long it's going to take, you're under a pretty constant state of stress. And that is having a toll on you. So it's really important to take steps to proactively manage that stress. And Likewise, there's great research now that shows that if you just take 10 minutes twice a day to do pretty much anything that takes your attention off your fears and your doubts and from dwelling on your disappointments, that provides the opportunity to turn on the parasympathetic nervous system that's going to relax you, that's going to renew you, that's going to restore you. So, it's important to find a few routines that allow you to do that on a daily basis. What happens with our fears and our negative thoughts, and this is something that, again, positive psychology is bringing to light. They're like Velcro. They stick to us. Threat thoughts stick to us, and they get at least 3, sometimes 6 times the attention of a regular thought. So when building a practice with so many negative thoughts and fears and doubts, you really got to be intentional on taking your attention off them when you've dealt with the threat, and putting at least 3 times as much attention on the positive side of what's happening. You're learning, you're growing, you're making progress. That didn't work out exactly as you planned, but you learned something, you're adjusting. You've got to put your attention on those thoughts, even though it's harder to stay there. Like positive thoughts don't have the same sort of stickiness. It's a really important side of managing your mental game and building your coaching practice. Another important part of the mental game is to build your support structure, design your support structure. Whether it's coaching colleagues that you're taking your training with, your own coach, partners, friends. You want to be plugged into people that you can lean on, that are going to remind you why you're doing this, that are going to encourage you, that are in your corner. That emotional connection to those people are critical. When you feel alone and isolated, your doubts and fears, your saboteurs, your gremlins, whatever you want to call them, they just have a heyday with you. So be really intentional on staying plugged in with that group that you can count on to see you through. Another part of the mental game of building a successful practice is something I've shared in some of the earlier videos in this series, which is really, start your journey into the business side early on. Building a practice is very much like a plane taking off. There's, a lot of energy expended, but there's not much altitude the first 80% of the runway. And then finally it starts to take off. So you want to start early to figure out, what you're good at and who you want to work with, and of all the marketing ways that work well for coaches, which are the best for your personality. Sooner you start, the better it is, and the more you're going to thank yourself a year down the road. Another thing I'd like to share with you, and it comes back to this feeling that can linger, that you're not ready yet, you haven't learned enough, you haven't enough experience. I know coaches that have been coaching 5 years and have incredible training that still feel that way. It's kind of part of being human. It's part of having humility. And I'd like you to embrace that. Don't view it as an enemy. There's a saying that only the wounded physician can heal. And what that is pointing to, it's your very humanity, the part of you that doesn't believe you've got it all figured out and have all the answers, that keeps you sensitive and attuned to the people you're working with and their insecurities. So embrace your insecurities. They're part of being a great coach, but don't, believe them. There's one thing to embrace them and accept that they're part of you. It's another thing to give them the full stage of your attention. See them as a gift and know that the people that you're meant to work with are going to find you. That's part of the marketing journey, is being able to attract them, to connect them, and be seen by them. And they're going to just sense that you can help them. And your insecurities, your imperfections as a human being and coach are part of that, and part of that, working well. So embrace your humanity. It's part of what makes you good at this. So this journey into coaching, it's going to have its highs and lows, and in the start, it's going to have many more low points than highs. But if you stick with it, you're going to get there. There are some 50,000 coaches that have come before you on this journey. There's tens of thousands that have faced the very challenges you've faced and found their way through it. So if you stick with this journey, you're going to make it too. And I just like to end this call by, even though acknowledging that it's a tough journey, it's a journey that's well worth it. To get to a place where you're coaching people you really, feel called to help, or you've designed your practice, so you're doing your work the way you want to, whether you coach over the phone or in person, whether you do one-on-one work or a combination of one-on-one work and group work, or training and facilitating, or writing, or creating passive income products. There's 1,000 ways you can build a successful coaching practice. It's worth it, to go through all the challenges you're going through now. So just take it a day at a time, follow some of these tips, manage your mental, emotional state, and you're going to get there. And when you do get there, it's going to be worth it. So good luck, everybody, and happy coaching. And I'll look forward to connecting and sharing some future suggestions and ideas in future videos. Take care. Bye-bye.